Hi, good morning, everyone. Let's get started with our next topic, which is client server architecture of SAP. In this topic, we will see the architecture for an SAP environment, and we will see that the different tiers of architecture for an SAP environment. Okay, you can see there are three main components. One is the presentation layer, which could be your PC or your location from where you are accessing the reports. Second is the application layer where the application processing is done. And lastly, the database layer where the core chunk of database work happens. Okay, so you can have everything on one system, that is one tier configuration. You can have database and application processing in one system and presentation processing in another system. So this is a two-tier configuration. And the most common is this one where you have a system for database processing, you have a system for application processing, and this is the monitors from where the reporting takes place. Okay, so this is your client server architecture. Okay, in this architecture, you can see there is a database layer, there is an application layer, and there is a presentation layer. Okay, from database, you can see that between database to application server, there is a communication taking place, which is taking place through high-speed LAN and which need to be highly available for the solution to be fully available. Okay, same thing goes for this communication also, which is taking place through a LAN, and the speed of access depends on the entire what is the connectivity, end-to-end connectivity which is in place. Okay, so the client server concept, it's actually a style of computing which distributes the workload of a computer application across several cooperating computer programs. So what happens is that in this type of computing separates user oriented application and database management task into different layers. So you can see that the user oriented activity is different, application related is different, and you can have multiple databases system processing your database related requirement. So any database management activity is performed here. Okay, so client server is mainly a software concept that includes a set of service providers and service requesters. So these are the service providers and they are the service requesters. The In client server computing, individual software components act as service providers, service requesters, or it could be both depending on what type of tier we are going for. Okay, these software services communicate with each other via a particular interface. Okay, so the major advantage of client server approach is that it has a flexible configuration. You can have either type of configuration depending on the requirement. You can distribute the workload because application servers work in parallel and communicate with the database. User can be evenly distributed based on their job, the task, the location. So this helps to deploy the application server across the company, across the geography, across the cities, etc. And secondly is highly scalable because client server permits user to adapt the capacity of their hardware according to the performance needs of your business, such as adding additional application server when there is an increase in the number of users. So we have to increase only this. Okay, so when additional modules are added and we are starting the production so we can increase the number of databases. Okay, so this is a way we can have a scalable environment and we can scale it depending on the requirement. Okay, so with the three-tier architecture, each group is set up to support the demand of its function. The central server contains the database, or you can call it as a database server. Application server, where we can do the processing of the application knowledge, logic here, including services such as spooling, dispatching, user request, formatting data, all that can happen here at the application processing part. Okay, and communication between them, it happens through CPIC, that is Common Programming Interface Communication, and it helps to transfer depending on where which component lies, and it uses the programming language called ABAP, which is proprietary to SAP. Okay, so that is pretty much I wanted to cover in this particular topic. Thank you for joining me and have a nice day. Bye bye.